Kyle, I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like we're halfway through October already because we are. It's October 15th. We're talking about GM selling more EVs and hybrids than ICE vehicles in China. I mean, that's just a surprising one. Talking about AI in your in-car experience and Starbucks getting back to basics, which is an interesting one.
Yeah, I got conversations about that one down the pipe.
I thought you might when I saw that story pop in.
Yeah.
And we are getting ready to embark on our tour
journey through the country.
4 day, right? That's what we're going to call it. We are going to be in and around just about everywhere, it feels like.
Just everywhere.
We're even making our way to the middle of the country in the last part of this year.
Yeah,
too.
That's right.
We're going to be in Virginia and Texas, Florida. Where else? Atlanta.
We're not coming to the West Coast. We really apologize.
Guys,
for that.
We tried so hard this year.
One of these days.
To our West Coast friends. Thank you to those of you who tried to help us pull it together for Q4 this year, but we just couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
We will next year. Next year's the year.
Next year we're getting to the West Coast. I'm calling it.
Listen, if you're in this community and you're on the West Coast, make sure you tell your friends about us. That way we can get the critical mass to like put a little event together or when we come out there, or maybe we just need to shoot a More Than Cars episode on the West Coast. And we've got our eye on a few places. We just need help to get the ball across the line. But we're making our way though, right? Like we have Indiana coming up. Like we're moving our way. We're moving our way that way.
I mean, for you, I'm in Central Time Zone already, pal.
I know. I'm just saying we, as in the proverbial we. I mean, we've been a number of times. But
speaking of the collective we, Paul, you don't have to hit the segue. You can.
Too late. It just
the Now We're Here podcast, hosted by the man, the myth, the legend, Damon Lester. It is a podcast all by NAMAD. Has released a couple episodes out. It's on all podcast platforms. You can search Now We're Here. You can find it on our YouTube channel at asotube.be, asotube. And these podcasts are awesome. And Damon he's a gentleman, but he's got a little flavor. He's got a little vibe, a little flair. So you're going to want to check him out.
He calls it Philly Damon. Like he and I have an understanding, both being from Philly. He's like, don't let Philly Damon come out. I know he's all got a suit on and he's trying to but that Philly Damon comes out every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's the only reason I watched the show. I'm just kidding, but I'm not.
Philly Damon. I love it.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a lot. Hey, we want to give a shout out this morning before we start.
Shout out.
So Cherokee Media Group, our friends over there at Auto Remarketing, etc., they have an inaugural independent auto auction of the year. And I love that they're going downstream and they're saying like, there's lots of these independent auto auctions that are still playing the game hard, like playing to win in this world of all like bigger tech and like bigger conglomerations. And their first winner, Big Valley Auto Auction.
Come on now.
Now, I don't know if this means anything to you because maybe you've never heard of them before, but it means a ton to us. Big Valley Auto Auction actually came to a SoduCon because they saw a post talking about Will Guidara and unreasonable hospitality. And you don't usually put like Texas Independent Auto Auction and unreasonable hospitality together. And want to thank our friends there, but they did. They came, they brought a whole crew. They actually went and ate at 11 Madison Park. So this is an independent auto auction. And our friend Blanca there for sure has been like spearheading the charge, prioritizing hospitality, customer experience, as the primary means to which they are trying to grow their business.
Thinking ahead of the game. I'm telling you what, if they can do it, anybody.
That's right. Because people on our lanes, blah, blah, blah. Nope. They're deploying it there. You have no reason why you can't deploy it in your big $20 million showroom.
There you go.
I mean, that's right. Maybe 20. So we just wanted to shout out. Thank you for being a part. We hope to see you at a SoduCon next year. And if you're going to be at NADA, make sure you look us up. Love to say hi. But you deserve it. Congrats. Let's talk about some news. General Motors has achieved a significant milestone in China, selling more electric and hybrid vehicles than ICE vehicles for the first time in Q3 2024. Basically, total deliveries in China grew by 14.3% to more than 426,000 vehicles. So more than a couple across their Buick, Cadillac, Chevy brands. SAIC-GM-Wuling, it's like a collaboration brand with over 224,000 of those being new energy vehicles.
That's wild.
NEVs, Is that a thing now?
New energy.
BEVs and NEVs? Okay. I'm glad there might be a word to like group them all in together, but they're NEVs. Okay. That joint venture I talked about led GM's EV success, contributing 328,000 vehicles to their, 426,000. Buick's GL8 partial plug-in hybrid hit a milestone as China's first premium multi-purpose vehicle to surpass 2 million unit sales. In the US, though, GM only delivered 32,000 EVs.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Steve Hill, the senior vice president at GM, remarked, quote, "We are building momentum for both sales volume and market share in China." That one surprised me.
Well, here's like the slightly non-surprising thing about this is that China is obviously all in on EVs. Like they have gone full tilt on it in every single marketing effort. Like, so it's not, I don't think
adoption
it's surprising
is high,
that
right?
you're seeing this type of thing take place, but I think it's surprising that it's GM, right? That an American manufacturer is seeing a large amount of success in these NEVs, new energy vehicles,
Here we go.
overseas, right? And so it's clear that the manufacturing, the product process behind these vehicles is present enough to have success in other markets. And so it's just about like balancing that success with the US market and whether or not it's the right time, whether or not the market's ready for it, all that type of stuff, because the product is clearly there and ready for that type of market is what it looks like.
I think this kind of volume gives them a huge advantage in the game they're playing here in the US because it just gives them experience.
Yep.
Right. Selling them, servicing them, seeing what people actually respond to. Because even though like drivers in different markets are going to respond in different ways, that doesn't mean there's a lot of basic human responses to vehicles and issues that happen, that they're just all this learning happening. So congratulations, GM. You surprised us on a Tuesday morning.
Got us sideways.
Good. Speaking of getting sideways.
Yeah.
Just when you thought. GM, just when you thought you could kick Apple CarPlay out of your system. Just we're going to be with GM. We're going to praise them and then we're going to like give them a little cocking too. Automakers are struggling to keep control of their in-car experience as Apple and Google are now pushing their AI-powered voice assistants deeper into vehicles, shaping how drivers are interacting with them. Basically, their voice assistants are handling tasks like navigation, calendar access, smart home control, and using vast amounts of customer data that they have now to deliver highly personalized experience. And automakers are losing ground because they don't have access to the same level of consumer data. So the tech giants are using that to make their AI bots feel smoother and better. And now the car companies are like, crap. That's an official quote, by the way. While companies like SoundHound AI offer alternatives, most automakers are outsourcing voice tech, avoiding the challenge of building their own. Very complicated and expensive to do. Here's a quote from Akash Arora of Boston Consulting Group. He says, quote, "Even within the vehicle, you're competing with what's on your mirror link or your phone. Not only competing with your OEMs, you may be competing with your own apps." So automakers are like, oh, we can't go back to the fact that when you press the voice button, it's the worst experience ever.
Here's my like, automakers integrate, build an app experience that takes control of the car, because that way someone can actually control the car from their phone in the same way that they would natively within the car. Like integrate is that's like, we've been saying it for what, 2 or 3 years, Paul?
Yeah, all the time, every time.
It's just the best option. You can simplify and dive down to exactly what you need to be taking control of. And like 98% of the market has an Apple or Google phone. So why not focus on integrating those services and the people that are building the tech better and making a core app that allows that customer to, within the Apple or Google ecosystem, control the aspects of the car that they need to get the cross app tracking, all the things that you need to. Like, that's going to be the best way to go. The fact that automakers are struggling with this is it's the same thing that we tell dealers all the time. Jordan and I talked about it. Like don't throw a rock in the stream, build a boat and ride down it. The stream is saying users want to use their phone in more places than one.
Could it ever be strong enough like you have the best OS in-car experience that people will be loyal to your brand because of that, I think I wouldn't bet $1 on that any day of the week.
I mean,
right? That's going to be the retention.
But Tesla's done it, but like that's a tech company, right?
Yeah, Tesla's done it, but you're right. It's so different. It's so different. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
People buy that car because of the tech.
Yeah.
They're like buying a phone.
Yeah, well, imagine if they have a phone that integrates with it.
It's over. Yeah,
that's going to be a whole different story. But if I'm an OEM, like you said, the stream is telling you this. Don't put a rock in the stream. Just build a boat on the stream. It would be so great. You know, if you're at your car company and you have the best iPhone integration app, now that's a thing, right? Rated #1 CarPlay integration in the market. Put that on a billboard.
It's over. It's over. Market the heck out of that thing.
And they would. And I can picture the commercial now. And if you do a good job with it, Apple might even collab on a commercial.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of like they do with Verizon and T-Mobile and all those others. It's not like they're afraid of it.
All right. Hope you're listening out there because, you know, these two armchair quarterbacks got all the answers.
Yeah.
Speaking of having all the answers.
Stop. Segue.
Maybe the Starbucks new CEO does. See,
Brian Niccol, who just took over in September, is as the new CEO of Starbucks, is helping them cut back on their recent discount-heavy strategy and marketing and aiming to return to its roots with a focus on premium coffee and customer service. Recently, they've introduced promotions like buy one, get one free, 50% off discounts, but the results were underwhelming. The company plans to reduce promotions during the holiday season, instead focusing on seasonal drinks, you know, like the pumpkin spice latte through advertising. Niccol said, we have an opportunity to make the store experience better for our partners and in turn for our customers.
Okay. So first of all, I don't know where those discounts went because I never get them.
No.
And I've never seen them. I don't know if they're in apps or if they're like, the only discounts I remember seeing are the ones where like, if you come in during the time when no one wants coffee, like 3 to 5 PM,
right,
we'll give you a discount. I've seen those, but
I'm sure they're in the app or something. Like
probably. But, so the CEO is saying we're going to get back to what made Starbucks great. Personalized service. I have noticed a little bit of an uptick in service at Starbucks. I know you don't go there. I go there a lot because it's the best option for me. I'm not in Nashville. I don't have craft coffee on every corner. And what I will say is this. It is like the strategy is like making it clear where you sit if you have a to-go order, where you can sit and hang out. They're talking about rearranging furniture, new furniture configurations to bring it back to the third place mentality. That could be a winning strategy. I do see more and more people hanging out again. And I think if they leaned into that, made it a nicer place to sit and hang out, that might work. I think this is all, you know, just considering what do people want, and a discount wasn't it for their product anyway.
I'm going to challenge what I think people want out of Starbucks and they want out of any retail, right? And you see, especially with dealerships, you see the reviews, right? And the best reviews, and even like we do the man on the streets, the best experiences always start with, how was your experience? Oh, I love my salesperson. Oh, yeah. Back to the day when Starbucks was young, or when any of these third wave coffee shops were young, I remember it's like, oh, I enjoyed the experience with my barista. They made me feel something, made me feel special, right? Starbucks started with like writing your name on your cup, right? That was very early. And then some of the baristas would actually like write something. They would remember you or whatever it was. And I think that the barista machine has become so much of a machine in any coffee. And there's a fear of that in retail auto too. Like, don't make the consumer experience a machine so much that the personality of the interaction with that retail, provider is limited. I think that's where Starbucks and where dealerships can, and anyone in retail can lean in, is like, especially with AI so prevalent in everything that we do, is how do you lean into that interpersonal connection in those little micro moments, whether it's like 5 seconds or 5 minutes or an hour, that make someone feel something that they couldn't feel by just like tapping on a screen and getting out of there.
I don't think there's a better way to end the show on that. So it sounds like he's saying, pay attention to the people. It's kind of our thing. Look, you have an opportunity to go pay attention to the people. So we hope that you'll do so. We got your back.